learn this school obviously know. The solar system is not what you call heliocentric. It's geocentric, or is what I like to call vortex centric. What is heliocentric before I go into the geocentric and vortex centric? Heliocentric is the misunderstanding that the sun is in the middle and that we have planets and everything else revolving around the sun. Not only is that physically wrong, that's psychologically wrong because that is turned selfish on accident as a man. Because you would think that the world revolve around you. When it don't, it follows you. If the world revolve around you, that's the one around you. But if the world follows you, it's always going to be back. So the thing is, I don't believe that wrong. I just didn't go going like this. Like the sun is the best analogy I give is like get married, they put the cans on the back of their car and dragging the cans. That's how the sun is going around the universe. The sun is pulling the planets. The planets ain't rotating around the sun. The sun is traveling at exactly 7,000 kilometers an hour, right? And I forgot how many. I think that's 100. That's something miles per hour. But I know kilometers for sure. 70,000 kilometers per hour the sun is traveling. Let's say it's going this way. And let's just get ready to, it's going cyclical. It's going in a big circle, but you're not going to see it going in a circle from a certain perspective because they don't got time, right? Unless you can see that little, unless you got a spider web or something, you can see that axis. Yes, the sun is traveling and everything is behind it doing this, swirling behind it in a vertex. And
I got the sun. Can you explain the moon? Tell me why.
The moon is last going to
I know that, but I came up with my own theory on why sometimes I walk outside and I don't see the moon.
Right.
Why is it? Because I came up with this. Sometimes when you go outside, you don't see the moon in your dream. But if you do see the moon, but I want to. What is your?
I don't know. Listen, you never know if somebody getting up every day and flashing us with that silver, like on Men in Black, and we don't count. But the moon always comes. The moon is always there. The dark side of it.
You don't see the moon.
A lot of times I don't see the moon. A lot of times I don't see anything that I'm looking for. If you're looking for something, you probably ain't going to see it.
I would. That's why.
I'm going to tell you that looking for, you probably ain't going to see it. Like if I would have been for a long time, I don't think nobody actually ever read about it. I don't know. I couldn't say nobody.
I never read it, but my grandmama, what I put in my head, she told me different. I grew up in, I grew up in the church.
Because I was from the South.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah, they stayed drilled into it, but it was always stuff that I just questioned all the time. And as I grew up, I became more spiritual. I became more of a more thinker. Right. And then, and then my family kind of took a step back from me, like, hey, what is this that you doing?
You're not controllable anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what they be about. This is no different because I got religious family. No disrespect. It don't even be about that. It be about we can't control this thought process. We can't control the way you see the world, which means if we don't know how to see it, and we are afraid of not knowing what you're thinking, because we both that's afraid of not knowing what you're thinking all the time. So that's not control. Right. And answering that, and I'm not being that answer, but I also want to make sure I answer this question. I didn't get this question. Also, you may not see the moon depending on where we are in the world, based upon its frame in the air. Like it's a million reasons, but also I'm pretty sure he was thinking this too. The moon, some people argue, may be actually a base disguised as a celestial body. They say that's what the Death Star is or Star Wars. So you going to that?
I'm going to say this, because this has been proven. Somebody astral projected, right? They went to the moon and astral projected, right? And they went there, they saw the base, right? With the astral police, they call them, they locked them up. Their body is still here, but they're locked up on the other side of the moon right now. I know this people, but this is documented. It's not something I'm just making up. Their body is here. They have to take to the moon. They got called. They locked up. There's nobody on the other side of the moon.
Okay, so that brings me to this now. And
to it. I'm gonna get right to it. And like I said, I'm as long as I get my not as long as I ain't no money. But like I said, I got 3 kids. I got some. So yes, I'm gonna continue to stress this one. But really, what it is I'm gonna just give y'all. I'm gonna just give you the synopsis, right? Boom. Okay, for example, like on March 9th when I went to the court, which that was already dismissed, and I got all the documentation when we already submitted my social worker. I didn't know I didn't need when they gave me one, and I want her now, and I'm keeping her now. So my social worker got all of that. Like on March 9th, I was reading my dad's death certificate, which also happened to be my oldest daughter's soul return / birthday, right? And I realized that my father died, 8 months after they told me he was dead. So I said to this, that was in 2013. So from 2012 till now, my life has just been very, very, very human trafficking, dealing with the government, and I'm constantly being given paperwork that's either fabricated or they're throwing it out. Well, targeted me, but also I would just say, had I not knew the law or been wise enough to know how to get through this, then I would have died. I wouldn't be here. So for me to really just do was just like, how many that I did is that God was just put it out. You were not yeah, we're gonna bring that up. But I don't know, we still gonna bring it up. And don't let me skip that. And what else did we bring up? I would say stress, but really what it was just betrayal. Like, and I say this on camera, my stand up shit. Yeah. And my baby mother's ain't in jail. Right now, like I said, I'm not gonna lie to my kids, so I would have that. I have not been around with this woman for did this, and she got the rest of her life potentially to do something to make her spirit right when she go. Like I said, I ain't never got that about her. I ain't think about it. But I will say this. It was just different. But like imagine the government or imagine his race has like trying to clip to it. So it's not just your video, not the video, and I deleted off everything. The video, they get deeper than that. Yes, all my everything is closed, but they got it to where my phone is tracked to where I can't even move up.
What people on there YouTube, what happened with the track? What happened with the track? Like, what happened? People stop booking you?
Nah, it ain't even about that. It's about I was using my YouTube, even though YouTube wasn't paying, I was using it as a free promoter because I had so many followers. It was easy for me to say, hey, I'm gonna be in the city at this time.
So that shows your YouTube video too.
Let me get
What was your most income that you made? Was it from, I mean, not income that you made, where did it come from? Was it YouTube?
no.
Travel.
Hyundai that goes the extra mile for what you need. Right now, these Hyundai Sonata SE for $189 a month will get 0.99% APR for 60 months. Hurry in.
On this video, I'm going to discuss 7 mindset shifts that have made me millions and millions of dollars. There's no doubt in my mind that if you adapt and adopt these mindset shifts, that they will change your life for the better. I heard someone say a long time ago, if you want to model any form of human excellence, somebody's doing something and you'd like to do it. You find somebody who's doing the thing you want to do, and you model 3 things. 1, you model their belief systems. 2, you model their mental syntax, the order in which they fire off messages in their brain. Number 3, you model their physiology. And so this is going to be about belief systems that if you adapt and adopt them, they will make you millions. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not making millions of dollars, somebody's going to rub you the wrong way. Because if these things already made sense to you, you'd already be doing them, right? I mean, they're not saying a reason don't expect to learn something from someone that you agree with 100% of the time. Of course, if they're not challenging, if what they're saying is not challenging you, how can you possibly hope for it to change you? So, here are the 7 mindset shifts. The first one, is the biggest mind-blown transformation that that changed my life to say it, they're going to say, oh, no, not that again. Okay. But here's the problem. Like, if that's what you're thinking, here's the problem. You know about it, and you think knowing about it is knowing it. Right? So like the words I'm going to say, you already heard them, you already know them. They're not new words, they're just new actions. They're words that you heard and recited, but you haven't yet done anything about. So here it is. First, game changer, million, multi-million, billion, whatever dollar mindset is be do that. You're like, oh yeah, I got that already. You do that. Yeah, okay. Sure you do. But I'm going to go over here on my trusty Bible. When I discovered this in Genesis chapter 1, it knocked my socks off for months. I was just like, and when I think about it now, it still knocks my socks off. Because in Genesis chapter 1, God said the whole thing. I'm getting chills thinking about this right now. God said the whole thing. And the first thing God tells us about God is that He is creative. He doesn't tell us first that He's love. He doesn't tell us first that He's righteous or just or omnipotent or omniscient. He knows all those things. The first thing God tells us about God is that He's creative. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And when God created the heavens and the earth in the beginning, He established a platform on which we operate, and that platform is in the beginning. That's time. There's no color it is, but I don't like it for that.
gave me a sympathy tap. Let's go to work. Let's go, bro. You want us to carry the car down? See, we gotta see if she got. Hey, she got ramen noodles. Can y'all hear her good or no? Tell me, no, sister, is she, because we got the thingy right on there. It's the audio. Y'all can hear her say something? Test 1, 2. Y'all can hear her good? Let me know. I heard. Say it again. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. No, testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. I think there's listen. Yeah, she's good. It's good. It's good. It's really better. Yes, yes. It's okay. Good. Very good. My groceries for her. Wait, you got siblings? No. When Donald Trump sent the president's agents storming onto our streets and terrorizing our neighborhoods, Adriana's Maya called for an end to the chaos. As the first formerly undocumented immigrant elected to Congress for Espaillat, this fight is personal. Espaillat took Trump to court, took hold ICE accountable, and wrote legislation to dismantle and defund ICE altogether. Adriana's Maya, a fighter for all of us. The other refund is responsible for the content of this act. I discovered Fiverr, and it has been a game changer for my business, and it will be yours too. What's the fastest way to clear? This bush of yours is clearly over the property line. Well, I want you to go into your shed and get some trimmers.
What was the purpose for?
So you break it twice. Once through the pocket, once through the hallway.
Now, in today's breakdown, we are going to be talking about the backstory of Ghost. We know we're going to be introduced to Ghost's grandmother, Grandma Charlene, and I do expect a lot of answers when we finally meet part of Ghost's family. Who knows if that's the only person we get introduced to? There may be more. But I'm sure she's got a lot of stories, a lot of history, and no doubt she will be a huge part of Ghost's upbringing, especially after the death of Curtis St. Patrick, which will no doubt help us plug some of the gaps in Ghost's story. She's also a character who will need care and assistance. I'm sure Ghost will be there for his grandma, just like Kanan was there for Joyce Thomas back in Raising Kanan, season 4. But Ghost's backstory and relationships go beyond just Grandma Charlene. And two in particular that I do want to break down over the next week or so in a bit more detail come from the same family, the Thomases, Jukebox and Kanan. Now, with this particular breakdown, we're just going to focus on the history with Jukebox, a question that I don't actually think will be answered in full in Power Origins, because Hailey Kilgore has told us she won't actually be returning for Power Origins. But if she isn't returning, then it does leave us with a lot of questions for how they end the story arc in Raising Kanan season 5. And that's the agenda for today's breakdown. This breakdown will be very much a hybrid between what we saw and heard in OG Power, characteristics that we learned from the older Jukebox and also the younger Jukebox in Raising Kanan, what happens with the story arc in season 5, as well as tying it in with Power Origins season 1. Now, we know there's a lot of history here between Ghost, Tommy, and Juke, especially if we are going back a few conversations with what we had back in Power.
I'm afraid of no fucking bad.
Why would you send your son in there against a man
character who was very well aware of not just who Ghost was, but also how dangerous he was. She knew he was someone who always had his head in his books, but despite him being book smart and always studying, in the streets he was still a gangster. He was vicious with a piece. Ghost had that kind of reputation as a kid back in the 90s, and that is one of the traits I am expecting to see almost straight away based on where they're starting the timeline, which is in the early 2000s. It does also kind of just highlight the double life that we saw back in Power from Ghost when we were first introduced to him way back in episode 1. We saw his introduction as a legit businessman, the owner and boss of Club Truth, but beneath this character of James A. Patrick, beneath Club Truth in the loading dock, we saw his persona as Ghost. Upstairs to everyone here, he was James A. Patrick, but downstairs in the streets, he was a ruthless drug kingpin and a ruthless murderer. We were introduced to a character who just managed to seamlessly transition between the two personas. Now, he definitely could fool a lot of people like Simon Stern or people like he did business with, but he definitely could have fooled someone like Jukebox. She's a character who can definitely smell bullshit and isn't afraid to call it out either. Most recently, we've seen her call out Rock in the final episode of season 4, and that's with someone that she grew up with, someone that she loves and has a very close relationship with. We can also take it back to season 1 of Raising Kanan, where she told Kanan that he wasn't fooling anyone with his tough guy act, and also admitting what Rock had just do was simply crazy.
You look good, Ghost. All dressed up like a fucking civilian. You really believe that?
She was someone who was able to see straight through people, and she told us something very similar to what she told Kanan in season 1. When we also speak about the red pill and blue pill of power, we often speak about how the environment sometimes shapes these characters. They don't know about the world that they live in until they grow a bit older. But Jukebox has always been a character who showed she is very much ahead of her time. She was a lot more mature in the early stages of Raising Kanan than Kanan was. Not just because she was 1 or 2 years older than Kanan. She knew about the world that she lived in. She knew the consequences that came with it. She knew what her family were into and the consequences of that as well. Hence why she never fucked with what Marvin was into. There was a moment where they were sitting outside just after Jukebox lost Nicole to the bad batch of drugs that Kanan cooked up, but she didn't actually blame Kanan. She blamed the world around them, their environment. She said, look at the fucked up place that they've grown up in, their influences around them. When they were at the park, she was teaching Kanan how to hustle. But having said that, let's go a little deeper. If you ask the question how and why she was ahead of Kanan, the answer is pretty simple. Kenya left her when she was a young baby. Marvin was also in jail for part of her childhood, and that meant she was raised by Rock, one of the most ruthless and toughest queenpin that we've seen in the Power universe. And we all know how close their relationship is, or was.
You used to live here, remember that? We just curl up on the couch and talk all night.
Now, no doubt Rock played a huge part in shaping the character that we now see on Raising Kanan, and also the character that we saw on Power, because of her early influence. Again, when you're younger, you really don't have the choice of your environment, upbringing, and who influences you. In this case, for Jukebox, it was Rock. So Jukebox was a character who was very clued on about the world that she lived in, even at this young age when we met her back in season 1. And during seasons 1 and 2, you could tell she was a lot more mature than Kanan, a lot more independent. Kanan had his moms bringing him milk and tucking him into bed at night, whereas with Juke, it would be the complete opposite. Kenny just up and left when she was a baby, and she had a hard time with Marvin, who initially refused to accept who she was. So she is a character who's very well aware of her surroundings growing up, and it is her life experiences, what she's been through, which has definitely contributed towards a more independent and more mature Juke. But this also leads me on to how she knew who Ghost was, and also how she was very well aware of how close he was with Kanan.
And Ghost, you boy, that kid. Always with his head in the motherfucking book. Vicious with a piece, though.
We know about the relationship between Kanan and Ghost from what we heard and what we saw back in Power, but so did Juke. Jukebox knew how close these guys were, and based on their interaction with Ghost in season 4, when she kidnapped Tariq, clearly they definitely knew each other from back in the day. She mentioned that he looked good, dressed as a civilian, but do people really believe that? Which hints at the fact that she knew the real Ghost. She knew who he was from back in the day, what he was capable of. Even though he had his head in his books, there was definitely another side to Ghost. Very similar to what Tariq said after the death of Kanan.
These suits don't change who you are. That suit can change who I am.
These suits weren't going to fool people that knew the real James A. Patrick. But having said that, let's flip this and look at the other perspective of Ghost and Tommy also knowing who Juke was, based on them saying, remember Jukebox, Tommy mentioning Juke was a crazy bitch. But also the fact that we saw this facial reaction from Ghost when Kanan mentioned who had Tariq.
Do you run these streets harder than some of these men? Love pussy. But ain't got no heart.
Now, there weren't many people who could often scare ghosts. There were probably only a handful or a couple of bones that had ghost spooked on power. One of the most famous and one of my favorites was Milan. But the fact that we had ghost spooked in this particular situation when he had Guhal Tariq tells you everything you needed to know about what ghosts thought about you. One, we know Ghost was scared because she had Tariq, she had his son. Two, Ghost is a character who thrived on having power and control, and during this particular moment, he had none. He wasn't the one calling the shots, Kaden and Juke were. And three, it really did seem like Ghost knew what Jukebox was capable of based on his reaction and his conversation with Kaden, which we definitely know from what we've seen. The combination of what we've seen and heard from both the older and younger Jukebox, she really would have thought twice about killing Tariq, and I do think Ghost would have known that as well.
This would have happened twice. Once in the pocket, once in the heart.
Now, with Jukebox, there was also a bigger plot and storyline that was actually supposed to be explored originally in Power. And I'm just going to play you guys something that Fully Kemp said a while back, and then we'll dig into it.
There are always missed opportunities with dead folks. One thing that I never got to do was I never really got to cross, and even though Rose's character Jukebox with Tasha, I never got to get more of those relationships together. That would have been nice to do, but again, as some of you guys know, the reason that we had to kill Jukebox off was that Anita had to go in quad. It was not just that it was time for the character to go. I was going to ask Jukebox and Tasha. No, I wanted her to cross with Tasha. I wanted Jukebox and Tasha to cross once Jukebox had kidnapped Tariq, if that makes sense, because Tasha would have had something to say.
Now, she has mentioned this a couple of times in various Instagram lives, and also mentioned it on the Crew Has It podcast as well. Jukebox was killed mid-season 4 when she hatched a plan to kidnap Tariq. Her plan was to hit Ghost where it heads twice, once in the pocket and once through the heart. But the original plan for Juke was to actually come back to New York, have a cause chaos for Tommy and Ghost in the streets, cause chaos for their operation, family, and everything else. There has also been a lot of speculation that Jukebox was originally supposed to kill Raina instead of Ray as well. Her not being able to get to Tariq, her being betrayed by Kaden during his kidnapping. Maybe the original plan was to go back to Queens, cause chaos, where she then comes across Raider instead. The original plan was to have Jukebox around for a little longer in power, and I have no doubt, zero doubt, that if Jukebox was in and around Queens a lot more, in a bigger plot or a storyline, she would have caused absolute mayhem for not just Tommy, Ghost, Tasha, Tariq, but maybe also for Kaden as well. From what we know about Jukebox as a character from the older and the younger version in Raising Kaden, she's very tough. She's not afraid to pull the trigger, cut people loose if she needs to, or where people disobey her. And she is also very strategic with her plans. Her plan is always her plan. You either stick to it or you end up like death. So I have no doubt in my mind that the actual plan and storyline that they had for Jukebox would have been absolutely insane in power. There would have been moments where she would have caused Ghost and Tommy some real trouble, have them scrambling, not knowing what's hit them. Ghost would have probably had trouble with Jason Vintage, battles in the real world with Simon Stead, dealing with broken relationships at home with Tasha and Tariq, constant law enforcement problems, his relationship with Angela Valdez, a broken relationship with his brother and Tommy, and on top, to make it worse, he would have had to deal with Juke. I really do believe we all would have loved to have seen it, not just because we would have got to see Jukebox in a lot more action, but she would have also come face to face with Tasha as well. That's something that has been confirmed by Courtney Kent that they did have plans for. The fact that she kidnapped Tariq, Tasha would have had something to say about that, for sure. If they did intend for her to kill Raina as well, I'm pretty sure the storyline would have gone in the direction of Tasha wanting to get revenge and get that kill. No doubt Tariq, Ghost, and Tommy would have also wanted to as well. But just as a mother, her losing a child, her losing a daughter, I think she would have probably wanted that kill. And that's the route which I think they would have particularly gone down had Jukebox killed Raina. Now, had she been in the storyline beyond where she was killed, we would have no doubt also learned more about her past, history, and maybe even more connections that she had. I'm sure she had the face-to-face meet with Tasha, where it would have been spoken, and she would have probably revealed more about what she knew, maybe even just to stir up the pot between Tasha, Ghost, and Tommy, just her being back in the same environment of Kaden, Ghost, Tommy, and Tasha in New York. She would have had more time on screen, and we would have had these conversations that revealed more about her backstory and relations. You also think about something Joseph Sikora recently said post-full season 3. He mentioned Vic Flynn may be stronger in New York due to his Irish connections, but never underestimate Tommy on his own turn. He has no advantage. Well, the same could have also been said about Duke in this particular situation. She's also someone who grew up in Queens. She went through a lot, as we all know and have now seen. So I really wish they were able to have Duke a bit longer on power, because it would have been more than just her causing mayhem. They would have been able to reveal a lot of the history that went down between maybe Ghost, Jukebox, and also Tommy. I'm sure the interaction between Tommy and Duke would have been epic as well. But having said that, it does also now give the writers a lot of free rein here to kind of take a story in a few directions, and a direction they feel is right. Now, originally, when we first explored the history of Ghost and Duke, I did mention, because of their history and what was mentioned in Power, we would most likely see Jukebox at some point in Power Origins, with her crossing paths with both Tommy and Ghost. We thought she would be in and around Queens, even though her and Kanan may have drifted apart, with Kanan breaking away from Rock and the Thomases, with him being more mentored and corrupted by Snaps and Pop, and with him being in the streets more with Breeze, Tommy, and Ghost. We did think she would still be in and around the environment, just not as close as they once were. But Hayley Kimball has actually been vocal over on social media about her not actually being in Power Origins. When she was asked whether she would be in Origins, her answer was a polite no. We also have to factor in with what we know in terms of where they're now starting the timeline of Power Origins. It does look like there will be a big time jump between the end of Raising Kanan Season 5 and the beginning of Power Origins, with much of the story in between in the late 90s most likely being covered through flashbacks and conversations. But if Hayley Kimball says she's not returning for Power Origins, that probably means that we don't see her at all, which definitely does make us consider a few things going forward. Her story in Raising Kanan Season 5 is probably the last time we see the younger Duke, and it will either likely end with her leaving Queens and New York altogether, or she actually leaves at some point in between the end of Raising Kanan and the beginning of Power Origins because of the time skip. I personally think in Season 5 we will start to see the fallout between Kanan and Duke in Season 5, and they definitely know that laid the foundation to that in a few different ways across the series. Sasha Penn has also teased that we will get the answers to this particular question. So I do think something big will happen between the two, and that will contribute towards them drifting further apart, along with other factors such as Snaps and Pops' influence, what happens with the Thomases, and also Breeze's influence. But at some point, it does seem like she's going to be leaving Queens. Whether it be at the end of Raising Kanan or during the time jump that takes us up to the early 2000s when we get into Power Origins, I do think we all know the catalyst that will be the final nail in the coffin for Duke's character. She said in conversation with Aisha in episode 10. She can't leave New York because she needs to look out for Marvin. Well, if Marvin is no longer here, then there's no reason for Jukebox to stay in New York. Could she go to Atlanta with Aisha? That invitation, I'm sure, will always be open. Or could she just go off there and do her own thing? As I mentioned before, she's a character who's very independent and likes to get things done on her own, in her own way. For example, back in Season 1, we saw her hustling in the streets. She was hustling on her own to pay for her studio time. She didn't go to Rock, Marvin, or Uncle Lou for money. She hustled on her own and made it happen. In Season 3, we saw her pursue
Memorial Day sale is officially on. Upgrade more tonnage and you can save up to 30%.
All right, we can work with marketing, IT, and ops.
Working across teams is tough. Asana helps you handle it. AI can spot roadblocks, so everything stays on track. That's how work gets handled. That's Asana.
See, there used to be one Hendrix. Now there's another Hendrix too. Infused with cacao and orange blossom. And yes, it's called another Hendrix.
Total power doesn't just happen. You have to make it happen. And it begins with a network as powerful as you. With Total Wireless, you have the power with unlimited 5G wireless with no contract and no caps. Plus, get a Samsung Galaxy on us. When you have total power, there's no slowing you down. Switch to Total Wireless. That's Total Power move. head in the comment section. You got your phone in your hand all day. Anyway, why not play games and get paid? It's free cash. Imagine growing up watching your favorite boxer dominate the world, becoming a 4-time world champion, inspiring millions. Then years later, after you finally make it yourself, you watch the same legend hit rock bottom, pro, jump, humiliated online, and forgotten by the world. So you step in, you rebuild his career, put money back in his pocket, you put him back on top where he belongs. But instead of loyalty, you get betrayal. Instead of respect, you get aggression, disrespect, and attacks from the same man you have saved. This your boy Music 101, the Street Report. Then I'm back with another video. Let's get into it. Dean the Great, a streamer / boxer who went viral multiple times after getting punched, slapped, and elbowed on stream for being disrespectful, did something nobody had the courage to do, and that was put his idol back on his feet. So, Adrian, hey, come here, cuz. Come here. Hey, come here. Well, no, we got Puertos. Hey, we got Puertos, come here. Hey, Puertos, come here. You know these chains? No. Your name changed, and your name verified. Told you. We got verified and your name changed to the way it goes. What did I do? We outside of the street, get to the ball, and we left it in. Make it millions. Bruh. What up? What you gonna make? No. What you gonna make? No. I don't care. That's you. No, okay. I know boxing. But what's gonna happen is now you're gonna make the same amount you made, if not more, on streamer than you did boxing. Now we can see. And you ain't gotta worry about hurting your body because I know you start getting arthritis. Adrian Broner, a 4-time world champion who once had the world in his hands with millions of dollars, expensive jewelry, nice cars, and beautiful women, lost it all. I'm talking flat broke with nothing left but a drinking problem. When Dean seen this, it crushed him because he looked up to AB since he was a kid. This was his inspiration to start boxing. Dean got in touch with AB and told him he wanted to help him get back on his feet, just come on stream with him. Adrian Broner said when Dean called him, he only had $7 to his name. Yeah, we can do whatever for you, cool. But how's he gonna get this money? They ain't gonna get it back, man. Because he a square shot tonight. Coming in, flying me. From the first stream, we just been going up and it changed my life, bro. You feel me? Now we back on. We back on, so now nigga back on his feet. I'm back clean, like I'm getting haircuts and fresh outfits again, like so. A few moments later. No, let's go, y'all. I'm forever grateful for you guys, bro. We brought life back into my life, bro. Yeah, I was just, I don't know. I probably would have jumped, bro. Like, where I was mentally, I probably would have jumped. They linked up and became the most watched streamers on Kick just in a few weeks. Now, Adrian Broner back on his feet with more money than he had in the last few years. That's how you do it. Oh, we got it back. If he didn't why the internet is upset with AB behavior when it comes to Dean. Him and Dean pulled up to a party with major celebrities and things got out of hand. Dean been trying to get AB to stop drinking because that's one of the main reasons he went broke. And when you see him, how we going? First day, so sometimes next try again. You could have done better. Same goes for where you invest. Level up and invest smarter with Schwab.
People from New York City stand to the New Yorkers who power this city, yet are still forced to choose between food and rent. At Northwell's Cardiovascular Institute, we don't know the meaning of untreatable or too complex. Call us determined. Stubborn, maybe. We're from the city.
Have you ever actually done the math? If you wake up at 7 in the morning, spend an hour getting to work 8 hours, then another hour to get home. You're spending 10 hours a day working for money. But what about your money? It's just sitting in a bank account earning barely 1% interest a year. Basically, your money is sleeping all day while you are working yourself to the bone. Is that fair? Today, I'm not going to teach you how to day trade or chase hot stocks. Instead, I'm sharing the exact asset allocation strategy I use. And we are going to base it on the ultimate financial milestone, $10,000. The core concept is incredibly simple. Make your money work for you instead of constantly chasing after money. I know a lot of people panic the second they hear the word investing. You might picture yourself glued to a screen watching stock tickers or worrying you'll wake up broke. But honestly, if your investments are keeping you up at night, that's not financial planning. That's just self-inflicted stress. Proper asset allocation should be like setting your washing machine. You pick the cycle, hit start, and go do your own thing. When the time is up, the laundry is naturally done. Let me ask you, if you had $10,000 right now, what would you do with it? Lock it in a fixed deposit? Buy an insurance savings policy? Or just leave it in your checking account or savings plan? I see so many friends bust their backs saving for years, only to let the money rot in the bank for a few bucks in interest. Meanwhile, they watch inflation drive prices up, and their actual purchasing power just keeps dropping. It's like busting your hump carrying water up a mountain, completely unaware that there's a hole in the bottom of your bucket. Before we get into the exact step-by-step, we need to bust 3 massive, deep-rooted myths. Myth number 1, investing is dangerous, saving is safe. Sounds logical, right? But here is the reality check. Right now in the US, the inflation rate is around 3.3%, but the national average yield for a 1-year fixed deposit is only about 1.9%. That means your money is actually shrinking by 1.4% every single year. Over 10 years, the actual purchasing power of your $10,000 drops to around $8,700. Does that still sound safe to you? Myth number 2, you need a lot of money to start investing. A lot of people think you shouldn't even bother unless you have hundreds of thousands of dollars. But $10,000 is actually a fantastic starting line. The amount doesn't matter. What matters is building the system. It's like going to the gym. You wouldn't refuse to work out just because you only have 10-pound dumbbells. The point is to build the habit and get your form right. Myth number 3, investing means staring at charts and doing tons of research. If you're a professional investor, sure. But for most 9-to-5ers, your time is way too valuable. Instead of burning 3 hours researching individual stocks, use that time to level up your skills, hang out with your family, or just get some good rest. The whole core spirit of passive investing is admitting the market is smarter than you. Don't try to beat it, just join it. So why do I emphasize the $10,000 number? Because it's a psychological threshold. When your investment account hits 5 figures and starts generating cash flow, you'll truly feel what it's like to have your money work for you for the very first time. Let's assume an annualized return of 6%. That's $600 a year, which averages out to $50 a month. Now, $50 might not sound like a lot, but this money is being generated automatically while you sleep, while you're binge watching Netflix, or while you're kicking back on vacation. That feeling will completely change how you view money. I remember the very first time I saw automatic dividends hit my investment account. It was a magical feeling. Even though it wasn't a huge amount, it was the first time I truly understood what passive income meant. It's like planting a tree. It grows slowly, but you know it's getting bigger every day, and eventually it's going to bear fruit. This psychological shift is incredibly important because it makes you look at work and life from a completely different angle. But here's the key question. If asset allocation is so simple, why do most people still fail to do it? The answer is that most people lack a system. They might watch a YouTube video and rush out to buy a certain stock, or hear a friend mention a hot fund and blindly follow along with zero overall planning. It's like wanting a healthy body, so on a whim, you go run 10 miles, but then you don't exercise at all for the next 3 months. Of course, that's not going to work. So let me share my $10,000 allocation system. This system is divided into 3 core layers, which I call the safety net, the growth engine, and the opportunity bullet. Layer 1, the safety net. I hold back 20%, which is $2,000 as an emergency fund. This money is not for investing. Instead, it goes into a high-yield checking account, a savings plan, or a short-term fixed deposit. You might be thinking, isn't that a waste? But trust me, this $2,000 is the ultimate source of your psychological security. When you know you have cash ready if a pipe bursts at home, your car needs repairs, or you suddenly lose your job, that is when you can confidently let the rest of your money go to work. A lot of people fail at investing not because they picked the wrong assets, but because an emergency pops up and they are forced to sell at a loss. It's like running a marathon. If you sprint too fast at the start, you won't survive. This $2,000 is the key to maintaining a steady pace. Layer 2, the growth engine. This is the core of the entire allocation. I put 60%